Afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another exciting Propagandacast with me, your host, Imperial Dane, Master of Propaganda. Off here to a 1 vs 1 on Kholodny Ferma. Between the West, we got a poor farmer here fighting for the Soviet Union. It's the Socialist cause, the third mechanized corps here. A Rolls 59 player by the way, with counterattack chosen immediately here. Poor farmer with penal troop infantry. Elite troop bulletins there. Better than these, we got Stupendousman fighting for the Wehrmacht. Germany, Deutschland, rank 49 with the Wehrmacht, taking on the role here of the 17th Panzer Division. We're looking here at encirclement, Jaeger infantry, and Festung armor with double infantry and mine bulletins here for Stupendousman. With an MG42 Grenadier start here, Paul Farmer with a penal trooper conscript start here. Well, Special Rifle Command conscript start there, thusly ensuring he has some troops on the field as it nonetheless sets up for penal troops in the longer run. Also, quick bob in that, just to sort of move ahead and secure the centre. Also, in this case, wire off the entrance. Thusly ensuring no one can do anything there, though. Seems like it's only Petrov who gets to do the work while everybody else just walks around pretending they're working. Typical Bolsheviks. Anyways, moving up northwards here, basically secure the area here, so again also ward off against Stupendousman rushing up through here, and that way hitting, and threatening the areas here. I mean, again, that tends to be one of the bigger threats if you start west. Kholodny Ferma, again, these areas sort of someone you have to be particularly careful against aggressive opponents. Pioneers moving down there, we got MG42 following up there for Stupendousman as well. Strafniki on the way for a poor farmer. Slightly rarer start with the conscripts into penal troopers, but it does happen. Usually most players either go like heavy penal troopers or they go heavy conscripts. A sort of mix between them. Even this light mix tends to be a bit rarer. In the south here, Pioneers there with the MG42 grabbing points. I mean, what some players like to do actually is set up the MG42 advance here, then use the Pioneers. So that way, if they try to move down through here, they can actually be caught by the MG42. And usually, they do not expect an MG42 position down there, by the way. They do not. Meanwhile, moving towards the fuel point there, finally, again, he's sort of secured the area here, though he's not leaving anything to guard it. Penals will be up against the Grenadiers in the centre. Carnage TKs with FE40s. Overall, the Grenadiers will probably have to fall back. So even with 3 windows here, I mean, the problem is it's just more penal troopers, so I don't know. I mean, it could work out for the Grenadiers, but I don't know. Looks like in this case, a poor farm decides to move to back off, try and bait him in. But in this case, Stupendousman decides not to fall for that one. He actually just backs off, knowing that's going to be a waste of his Grenadiers just standing about there. He wants to use them somewhere he can sort of, kill more Russians faster. The true German spirit. Moving up the import to secure the centre, we got penal troops advancing across the open ground. And right in front of the MG42 here, which is positioning up as I usually find with my luck in the very wrongest of directions. Heinz, shouldn't you know open up as the enemy's more likely to come from rather than that tiny shit? 9. We all set up sehr fast. I never trust those shits. I lost my uncle in World War I to a shit, 9, I didn't know. Well, I did. Never trust a shit. Anyways, troops there getting gunned down by the MG42 there. Tried to rush, in this case didn't quite work out, securing a few extra kills there for Stupendousman and the 17th. Up north, Grenadiers versus Engineers here, most of the guns versus Carnage TKs. German determination versus Russian booze. But there we go, we got a conscript fort there flanking against the Grenadiers. Quick hoorah there, bolstered by enthusiasm and vodka and possibly a few threats. Grenadiers are being pushed back here, overwhelmed by poor farmers. Numerical superiority. You also got a very early snub out here for a poor farmer. A bit risky there, of course, long term. Could have quite an impact on Stupendousman, who's going for a 4th Grenadier escort there, which could indicate the tier 3 rush, which to an extent I think has abated a bit amongst the Wehrmacht, but still, you do see some players go for it. But again, I think it's always abated because it turned out a lot of Wehrmacht players, again, are just not very good at the whole actually rushing part again. Like they can sort of get a lot of infantry, they can sort of skip the tier 2, but they don't know how to get up the support armor core fast enough to sort of really, make it actually work, and usually that tends out to be a bit of the downfall. But maybe Stupendousman is one of those few Wehrmacht players who actually knows how to do it. Meanwhile, though, he's keeping up good pressure, seeking out weak spots, attacking. Infantry blitzkrieg tactics, to an extent, I guess. Half blitz. And we got here Jaeger infantry from Stupendousman opening up their ambush camouflage, G43s, tactical movement, light artillery, and of course to a close air support. Expensive munitions wise doctrine, but also reasonably powerful one if you actually know how to use it. So it's sort of more of a doctrine, I think, for elite players, or elite, veteran players. Players who've seen a lot, perhaps even seen things they should not see. Perhaps Stupendousman is one of those few. MG42 remains here. But then again, I mean, it's also rather low on health, so it's probably a bit too risky against penal troops and the sniper to move the MD4 too far ahead, even with a sniper bat. I mean, this position is pretty risky, so he might want to consider pulling back. In the meanwhile, though, just continue aggressive attacks there, and the G43s will certainly facilitate more aggressive attacks if Stupendous Men, of course, they'll have to fire on the move and whatnot. And in theory, also open for casualty interrogation, though I'm still one of the few people actually know that have utilised that ability at all. So it is pretty handy if you know how to use it. That is a bit finicky setting up for. Like, you gotta find someone who's actually wounded and then you have to interrogate them, and you know, it's not always like you sort of get, you know, convenient amount of casualties sort of lying about. Medic bunker up there, no tech yet for Stupendousman. I mean, even if he's taken for tier 3, you know, you still gotta, you know, get the rush in there. You gotta get the rush in, otherwise, you know, it's not a rush, but more like a tier 3 saunter. A tier 3 walk in the park with a lot of angry looking rations staring at you from the nearby tenements as you walk in the park. But there you go, bunker up, still no take up there for Stupendousman. Setting up, he's actually got sandbags, he was prepared for the eventuality his opponent would secure the house there, very good. Foresight there, gonna do something for the northern fuel point, again just continue harassment against Paul Farmer, trying to slow down his take up again. Very much feels like a tier 3 rush, but again, the tech isn't quite there, which I suppose again also feels very much like, you know, a standard tier 3 rush from a lot of the Armoured players. We'll have to see there. It's not like he needs to meet that up by now, but you know, again, usually even if you're up, you gotta get that tech in there. I mean, the faster you can do it, the better. It's not like he's going to use that fuel for anything else, nor for that matter that much manpower. Going to do still need to retreat though soon enough, but again, he's going to try and grab the fuel point entirely that way, making it harder for Paul Farmer to actually go back. And there's the need to retreat. There we go. Schnell. Slow pressure there against the penals from inside the church. 2 squads of those for Paul Farmer connecting now, calling shock troopers and Satchel charging the church. He's expecting his opponent to pass into it. Or perhaps he just wishes to deny. I'm not entirely sure. Hard to say at times. Either way, the church is gone, and there we go. We actually do get shock troopers. Now, this is an interesting sort of force compensation. One shock trooper squad, 2 penal troopers, a conscript squad, and a sniper. Definitely not your usual force composition from a certain player, but it certainly has a few different elements. Opens up for anti-tank grenade if need be. He's got, of course, more solid infantry. He's got close quarters infantry for the smoke, and of course, he's got the sniper. So it's a pretty interesting one. And now we see Stupendous Man setting up fuel cache on his car point, and there goes taking. But that definitely reeks of a tier 3 rush. Though again, I don't know, he could at least have some of the elements, you know, again, going more smoothly there. But, I mean, this very much just screams he's rushing. He's screaming, you know, he's skipping tier 2 with this. At least to us. Obviously, he's not doing it to his opponent, though. If a Paul Farmer, of course, you know, pays a bit of attention, he'll probably notice, you know, I am not noticing anything heavier than grenadiers. I think they might be rushing for their panzers. So, I mean, that could, you know, be sort of a thought process there Paul Farmer has, and particularly when he sees the fuel cache on the car point, and again, nothing but grenadiers and a single MG42. So again, he still needs to hit that button again. Faster the better. MD42 though, when we got shock coming in there, PDS-40s wipes the MD42 there. Pioneers seem to camp out the close again, they're going to get wiped as well. Shock troopers, again, seemingly forgotten a bit, but are slowly catching on because, well, the shock troopers are pretty good if you know how to handle them. I mean, they do pack a lot of punch, and they can also take quite a punch. Now Stupendous manages down to like 4 grenadier squads, nothing else. MD42 they're being seized by the penal troops, rifle grenades off, they're still in a tech up. Got some kills in there on the shock troopers, cash down. I mean, he's got plenty of fuel, but again, it's not really exercising in any specific direction. And this again is where Stupendous Man needs to push a bit harder for the fatherland. He needs to believe in Endsieg and press that bloody button. There we go. Pioneers attack. Finally. Again, could have had that going smoother there, I would say. Could have had that going smoother. But that's enough about that. I think I'm belaboring that point a bit much. We got take up there for Paul Farmer, moving up for the tank command. Troops back there for healing reinforcement. The shock troopers getting ready as well. They're patching up some of that body armor as well. Heavy stuff, by the way, and could pretty much only stop a 9mm parabellum bullet, which for those who are not aware of quite what that is, there's a pistol shot or an MP40 shot. Anything with more power than that would, I think in most cases, just pass through it. Point there secured, point there secured. Fuel cache up for Stupendousman. Second one again. There's a clear intent there towards an armor rush, but again, he also wants to ensure he can just push out as much armor as fast as possible. So he's almost got that ready. They can build up Support Core, and then he should actually be able to rush out, see an Ostwind or a Panther 4 there versus a poor farm. He's going to need it because, I mean, a poor farmer's going to hit him soon with the T70, so he's, needs to get something going there fast. There you go, Truth's being suppressed, murdered up close here. Assault level Stupendousman failed, but he nonetheless, keeps up dutifully pressure on his opponent fuel point, and a poor farmer is never really doing a lot to defend it. He's never really doing a lot to defend it, so I mean that also works out to Stupendousman's favor. And there goes the Palmer Co-op, and again, I mean, thanks for all of this. As soon as it's done, he can rush out an Ostwind, which will be able to contest, most light vehicles, like the F-6, and of course, do a lot of harm to the infantry. Or could of course go for a Panther 4, which would largely do the trick as well. There you go, guys, being put back here with the shock troopers, the PPS-41 wielding assault troops. Well, assault needs to be more specific. The PPS-41, by the way, was actually a pretty much ripped off design of the Finnish submachine gun. Fun fact there. I'll be hitting the cough point again there. Pretty consistent work. Now Stupendousman just needs a bit more careful with his infantry casualties and save up for that Panzer 4. Fuel cache returning for poor farm as well. Probably seen as opponents actually thought, I like this idea. We will also build fuel cache, but ours will be bigger, more glorious, more Stalinist. I mean, communist. Anyways, Primus was then pushed back, but they're going to use a few well-placed G43 hits. There certainly has quite an impact on the poor bastards. Sniper there. Bit exposed, but at the same time, they're going to just can't do an awful lot. Rifle grenade off there has little impact due to the heavy caliber bonus. More grenadiers around there. Again, needs to be careful, doesn't bleed out his men needlessly. So again, otherwise he's slowing down his armor, and again, he's out as fast as possible. In this case, it's helped that the poor farmer is not going for a T70 as fast as he could have, possibly. I mean, he's also suffering manpower losses, and obviously doesn't want to leave his opponent a bit too long. Oh, good hit on the sniper there. Good hit. Well, there's several people can interrogate, including the sniper. That is going to do it. Flare trip man going off up there. And he's charging straight to the M42 apparently forgetting that a poor farm had one there, and it's notably manned by penal troops, making it very difficult to take that house and clear that machine gun with infantry. But there you go. He's going for the Ostwind though. He is going for the Ostwind. Part of me thinking he'll try and go for the Panther 4, but I'm guessing he just wants it out as fast as possible. And in that regard, there is a 70 manpower difference between the two. I mean, in this situation, again, we have no armor there, and the situation isn't quite, I think, as clear-cut as it might be, maybe I would like it to be. I'd probably go for the Panzer 4 here. Then follow up with an Ostwind or a Stug, then sort of depending on what happened from there on. I do not think I'd go for the Ostwind here and there, so I was like, at least around the 10-minute mark, and a lot more confident in the current situation, which I do not think I'd be here as Stupendousman. But I mean, it's still going to be pretty effective. But it seems like a poor farmer setting up here for the KV-1. I was about to say KV-8. They could also, in theory, have set KV-85, except that's not in the game, though that would have been pretty cool if they did add it. As that was basically an upgun version of the KV-1 with a bigger turret and a 85mm gun similar to the T-3045. Basically the interim between the KV series and the IA series. Shock was there overwhelmed, got the Ostwind down southwards, engaging the conscripts up close and brutally. Slaughtering the Russian infantry. Tearing it apart with heavy flak fire. But a poor farmer here clearing up for the K1 again. It is a strategy that to the extent took a bit of while to catch up, but again, K1 call-ins down to the extent is sort of catching on. I mean, it's out faster, which is his advantage. Can also contest some things better, but like versus sort of more direct, heavier counters, the K1s tend to struggle. Like if you go for a lot of Stugs, or maybe you can go for Panthers, Tigers, the K1s will basically, not be very good. So it's sort of a bit of an interesting sort of strategy when you actually go for KV1 sort of call-in modes like this. And most players, I think, will not, try and keep on it forever. Some will, but, most will just use their K1 initially, just, an initial shock unit, which will be effective at, and then sort of, take up, sort of bring up the more regular stuff that's also notably cheaper, because the K1 is not cheap. But again, sort of just using this just a shock unit like here, it's going to be severely effective, because right now, Stupendousman does not possess a counter. He does not have a Stub. He's got no mines. He can go for the Stub very soon though. And there he goes, he's got the fuel, he's got the manpower, he just needs to press that Stug button. At the same time, he's trying to keep the Ostman alive here from the KV-1 heavy tank. Aerial reconnaissance, trying to look, I think, for the Ostman actually. So they can hunt him down. In this case, going to take the chance to get back to his water's base. Nope, pulls it back, gets Panzerfaust again maybe. Not enough. Again, just consistent harassment of his opponent's fuel point. Very good work there. Again, both players have taken measures to make it a bit hard for them to be harassed there in some way, but just, making up for it with the fuel caches. That's pretty good there by both players. Gonna need to repair that Austrian pretty fast. Got an aircraft shot down there. More pioneers for Stupendous Man. I mean, obviously more armor on the way, having more pioneers repaired is a pretty good idea. Okay, well, they're dealing with the advancing infantry, the launch a counterattack for the point. The mechanized corps doing what it can. Shock just running back, and they need to retreat as well. And there you go, we got the Stu 3G out there for Stupendous Man and the 17th Panzer Division. Just push back. There we go, K1 taking direct hit from the Stu 3G, landing another excellent hit. The Austrian still being repaired. Looks like he's not using ammo to grab the fuel points. That's going to further slow him down a bit behind there, Mr. Stupendous Man. Stu down the hunt for the K1. Pretty risky there, pretty risky. He never knows what's around the corner of his opponent's mines. And oh, snap! Did he actually see him turn around? There's just something else here going with Stupendous Man. It's hard to say. They might be just realised he can't fight there. It kind of looks like he just took a sharp turn. Stupendous Man didn't quite notice and just, kept going. So he spots the fuel cache here. Could in theory stop to his drop. That's not going to work out. Meanwhile, keeps up the K1 there. Shoots. But at the same time, it's in theory. Oh, there. He's going to go and try and make it. He's going to try and make like a reverse turn there. And deal with the K1 on his own. Pretty risky there by Stupendous Man. Pretty risky. But couldn't theory work out there. Almost got the K1 Austrian dealing with infantry by the cut-off point. Could also just deal with the fuel cache instead. Or just pull back the Stu, gone on the way. Austrian there close to Veteran G1. Shocked from the retreat. Grenadier squat down one there for Stupendous Man. Got the fuel cache. Veteran G1 need to pull back the Stu though for most needed repairs. I mean, that thing has certainly seen better days. Stupendous Man could also benefit from another machine gun or just more grenadiers. He could also consider taking back for Light Mechanized Company and some Panzer Grenadiers. That thing could also be a very good choice there for Stupendous Man and the 17th Panzer Division. But so far, no sign of that. Fixing up the K1 there a bit. And there you go. He does end up going for another MG42. Definitely not a bad choice. Also note, by the way, poor Farmer has comboed a man with a demo charge of a sneaky way, basically something I can take out most armor directly in one hit. That's only also guaranteed to wipe infantry. Whoa, got machine gun there, wiped the house as well, removing a strong position there for poor Farmer, like diminishing his control of the center of the map there. Very good there by Stupendous Man. 13 kills. K1 still being repaired, took a bit of time off there. We got another Stug on the way there for Stupendous Man. Sehr good, mein Herr. Ostman rolling southwards. Peanuts are going to moving straight into this line of fire. There you go. First one a flat fire, takes apart Boris and almost gets Yuri as well. Got the Stu good to go in the north, could find some machine guns on it. Of course, might be seeing up nations for other elements. Coming towards the center here, right close to the demo mine, or the super mine, whatever you like to call it. So, Sergei, what do you call this? I call it the secret bullet mine. Because you won't even have time to say that once these things go off. Anyway, Stuttgart there. Pioneers being swamped here now. I think they're going to get wiped there. At least there's a high likelihood here with the peons with that structures up close. Troops in the center is moving out, avoiding the super mine. Sniper creeping up. Ostman moving up. Ooh, he's going to lose those grenadiers. Quite a loss there for Stupendousman. Ooh. Close to getting a wipe there. Avoids the super mine with the Ostwind. Stuk out! Straight into it and completely destroyed. Also damages the Ostwind, taking it down to half health from just being close to it. You still got one Stuk. Now this is veterancy Stuk. One Stuk, so it's not all bad, but yeah. Minesweepers are good. So just take them around the centre of the map there. But there you go, K1 taking F5 for the Stuk. Target weak point, yes indeed. Heat run there being fired up close. And there you go, disabling the gun. To give the Stuk themselves good hits for free. Allowing it to pretty much beat the K1 there. They might lose the Ostman as well to the K1. If he's not careful, that's going to be a harsh loss because the Ostman is getting close to Vetti 2, which makes it really, really good at destroying infantry. But there you go, Vetti 2 in the Stuk. Ostman survives and actually knocks out the KV1, finishing the job here the Stuk started. The guy from Mother Russia, they're going off. He needs to repair the Ostman. Troops charging in there, filled up with socialist zeal as they go after the fascists. People are going forward to the strength of the MD42 and the Ostwind. Getting shredded there. As the Ostwind annihilates them. Getting very close to T2. Which is going to be a big problem there for a poor farmer. It does. Now go right from the other side. Rushing it. But again, right into the front line of 5 the Ostwind. T2 gain for the Ostwind. Increased rate of fire. This is where the Gaden's getting particularly nasty. And once it hits Veteran 3, he can really just begin tearing apart infantry. Meanwhile, we got a field gun out here for poor farmers protected back tech. In fact, he's got all levels of tech structures here. He's got mechanized armor company, tankery, special rifle command, and support them company. So basically, a poor farmer now has access to all of the tools there, whereas Stupendousman basically got the infantry company and the support armor corps.
Our territory is falling into enemy hands.
He could consider a mortar though. That would not be a bad idea. Need to be careful with the Stuk. Until he called in on the field gun. Leicht's infantry shoots. Raining Leicht's fire down there. Go Ostman rushing in there. Make straight for the kill in the process. In this case, the gun shield, the dust by a lot of protect, got more supporting fire there, supporting the Ostwind. 20 kills there, and there you go. Field gun wiped. You can get the Stuk in there to attack ground, or just attack it. Oh no, I got pimps. No, dear. Oh dear. Oh dear, that was a mistake. That was Stupendousman. That was a big mistake. Almost lost his Ostwind there. I'm not entirely sure why I rushed it in like that. And the Stuk can't attack the field gun either. Need to pull back safely. Oh, Stupendousman. Scheiße. He's going to lose the Ostwind. Ah, what a waste that was Stupendousman. I'm guessing could have been misclick or some... Just, you know, what's it called? I can't quite remember the wording for it right now. Just basically the pathing. There you go. Pathing issue. Well, that's a pretty big loss there for Stupendousman. He was really doing a number there on poor farmer's infantry. Make it a lot harder for him to use his infantry the way he wanted to. Which is basically where the Ostwind is pretty good. Ooh, lost the grenade squad trying to take the field gun. That's a huge loss there for Stupendousman. Huge loss. That is certainly a rather bad call. The second one in a short amount of time there, costing a full grenadier squad there. And not even gaining the field gun. That is as bad as it can get. Shocks are moving in there. Stuk trying to crash. Does successfully crush some of the shock troopers, but the machine gun gets wiped here. Further casualties just piling up for Stupendousman. He's down to one pioneer squad, one grenadier squad. He's got Vetti 2 Stuk, and he's got the Panther 4 on the way, but this is otherwise really bad for Stupendousman. Might have been overconfidence, hard to say there. Again, just some misclicks. There's certainly a lot of possibilities here, but overall, pretty bad. Pretty bad. I mean, he's got the Panther 4 in the Panther 4. If well handled and upgraded machine gun could possibly to an extent turn around here as long as he just uses the Stuk intelligently as well and just replenish his loss as fast as possible. We'll have to see here. There you go, got the field gun. We need to put distance. Don't lose the Panther 4 like you lost the Ostwind. Also very good note there by how he quickly just gets the Panzer IV to stop up so it becomes a lot more accurate. I mean, remember, they take quite a dip to the accuracy while they move. They should really add the machine gun there to it. Basically using this squad, I think, to just push him away, ensuring he can grab the field gun with the other squad, ensuring he can't rush it. But there you go. Need to pull back the Panzer IV here. Ah, he's going in. He's going in. The madman. Flanking the actually fired over the Stu, focusing down the field gun. Oh dear, really smart move there by Stupendous. There you go, rushing in. The Penals are going to try and get off. They meanwhile, the Stu going in for the. Oh, Stu 5 doesn't quite get it. Could destroy the field gun now. More Grenadiers on the way. Good, good, good. Ah, talk about close. Talk about extremely close. But he needs to destroy that field gun. He should not try victory captured again. But he does it. He's really intent on getting that field gun. He is really intent on getting that field gun. Still makes off with the field gun, the CIS-3, which I've apparently been reporting as it got rifled up. Which Jones, it wasn't actually not the issue. What it did was actually increase the bore of it, specifically could take larger ammunition. So that was a bit of a mistake there on my side. But that they did something there to modify the CIS-3 either way to just increase it. In fact, it made, once they did that to the CIS-3, it actually became better than the Pak-40. Interestingly enough. Always shocks being run off here by the Panzer IV. That did, of course, cause some logistical issues. Need to get the MG42 back here. The Panzer IV again is doing pretty well here. I'm just surprised he hasn't added a machine gun to it, as it does help a lot there as an infantry. Alright. What does help also a lot is just not moving the Panzer IV all the time. That really also an impact on, you know, again, the lethality of the Panzer IV versus infantry. He is getting more grenadiers, that's good, but the M42 is still right under his nose. H-35 back, he needs to pull back the armour. Oh, so the Stu, he actually had the machine gun to the Stu now, but he's got it satcheled. Not good there. Feels like he's trying to do too much, he's so struggling to keep up with things. All of a sudden here, which is certainly not good. Going for a deep flank under the Panzer, the H-35 again with the Panzer IV, very good. I mean, he's doing pretty well with the Panzer IV when it comes to pulling off some rather sweet tactical flanks against his opponents. I mean, he's really doing amazing work there with that Panzer IV. I mean, he's the sort of player who could actually pull it off at times. There's, you know, situation where I'd not recommend you going for a Panzer IV. It's just a shame, you know, he keeps losing his Stus and Austrians then slightly awkward situation. So I'm just going to do is because, oh, I mean, he's pulling off some still pretty damn good work. I mean, he's got a Vetti 2 Panzer IV with 20 kills, and he's actually managed to, you know, slightly turn the situation back in his favour here versus his opponent. He's still got a fat victory point lead as well. Troops are bunching up, that's the Panzer IV. That's setting a bad move there by poor Farmet. Since again, Stupendousman has shown him more than capable of utilising his Panzer IV very well. Better 3 there for the shock troopers, and there we go, 3-man drop to pay for that one. That Panzer IV is certainly doing a lot of work there for Stupendousman. That one is just, I think, more or less single-handedly turning the game around for him. Here versus a poor farmer. He, of course, just needs to be careful he doesn't get it up with a damaged engine, which could easily spell certain doom for the Panzer IV and its crew here. More pioneers on the way, very good. I mean, if you get that thing to Vetti 3, that would be really good there for Stupendous, man. That'd be really good. Penals are up there, there's the Panzer IV. Attack from the south against the Panzer IV there, trying to disrupt the repairs, but there you go, second Panzer IV moving in. 2 Panzer IVs versus a penal super score. That is very much a situation in favour of Stupendousman and the 17th Panzer Division here. Quick loss there to the Strafniki. We got 26 and we got 4 kills there for the 2 Panzer IVs. Overall 30 kills there. Sehr good. North England's been attacked there by the penal trooper MG42 number 2 there. He's going to need to retreat. Not even a single rifle grenade there can do the trick. And his veterans see 2 Panzer IVs almost back in action here for Germany. Das Vaterland. Really though, that Panzer IV's done some impressive work there. And certainly also think highlights that the Panzer IV can in fact be a pretty good medium tank. But again, it does require, as you notice here, a rather deft hand. And of course, understanding that you should not be moving around, all the bloody time. I mean, again, it's sort of, stop, shoot, and then move if you have to. Not just keep shooting and moving, because again, it really cuts down on what the Panzer IV can do. And then, of course, the sort of the ace level, or sort of what makes the Panzer IV really good, though, is again just its later levels of veterancy, which basically at that point makes it sort of in many ways superior to a lot of other medium tanks. Or at least to an extent, able to sort of really challenge them. I'd say superior, but that was some advantage there. But I mean, eventually, see 2 Panzer IV can soak up some fire there. Away there, landing off some good hits. Here's the close being wiped out. Another issue fire up there for poor Farmer. Engineers annihilated. Spotted the mines in this case there. Not quite placed properly this time around. Grenadiers by also acting as a bit of a tripwire, showing he doesn't get your swarm. We got anti-tank routes up the Puma troops. He lost another Grenadier squad though. I really do think Stupendousman will benefit a bit from Pack Tech and some Panzer Grenadiers. There you go, need to be careful with the Panzer IVs there. 4646. Oh dear, traffic jam. Looks like his non-veteran Panzer IV's going to get hit with it. He could have tried driving forward towards the Puma, so that might have worked out. Instead, he's pulling right back into the line of fire. The issue-5 doesn't get anything on the Puma troops there, so he's going to likely lose that one. Rather than fortune there for Stupendousman. Not good area there for having more than one Panzer IV there. Oh well. Halfway to veteran in that Panzer IV. Don't lose it, Stupendousman. Do not lose it. Do not throw it away. Wait for reinforcements. Don't try to be a hero. Though Germany likes heroes. Germany likes its heroes when they actually can keep being heroes and keep killing. Those are the best heroes. The breathing ones. Almost got a Puma squad there. 35 kills, 36, 37. Taking a hit, they're down to half health. Oh, snap! He's going to try and rush the issue-5 with it. Down to quarter health. But here we see poor Farmet sees right through it. Almost gets the Panzer IV. And the Panzer IV goes down. We got a field gun moving in to support, but he's just too late there. That was just a waste of the Panzer IV. That was a risk there he should not have tried. He tried to basically catch the opponent off guard, but he's opposite poor Farmet increasingly should be aware here. Up Stupendousman, you flanks and all that. So, nice attempt there, but that Panzer IV should have a bit more health if you were to pull that one off. So that was just a waste of a good Panzer IV. Aggressive move, but rather, I think, costly. Because he can't easily afford to replace, eventually 2, almost 53 Panzer IV, which requires long-term a better effect for him. Gets the issue-5, there was some anti-aircraft support, but again, that Panzer IV was hugely important for him. It really showed one of the things that kept all of the poor Farmer's infantry under control, since the Stupendousman just keeps losing infantry himself. I mean, increasingly I feel it definitely needs to go for the light mechanized company and some Panzer Grenadier here versus a poor Farmer. There you go, another Panzer IV out there though, for Stupendousman and the 17th Panzer Division. Grenadier shooting reinforcing, field gun abandoned, and he grenades it. Straight into the conscripts. I imagine a poor Farmer setting up for another issue-5 here. I mean, if you can trade off, a veteran Panzer IV for the issue-5, that's pretty good for them. In this case, you got 2 Panzer IVs with it, more or less. That's really good there for a poor Farmer and the 3rd Mechanized Corps there versus Stupendousman. Another issue-5 there for a poor Farmer. No tanks from him really besides that 1K1 it seems. Just mostly issue-5 tank destroyers. He is quite happy with the performance. Quite happy it seems. And Stupendousman just sticks to Panzer IV. So I can overall understand the situation. It's just not a bad idea overall. Again, he, for the most part, makes good use of them. But, there are some slip-ups there which rather, tilts things back in favour of a poor Farmer, which he needs to be careful of. Particularly, again, just almost fetching 3 Panzer IV. Huge loss there. Huge loss. And now he's going for a sniper that way, try and bleed out his opponent. I'm not entirely sure that's going to work out. Again, I feel like Panzer Grenadiers would be long-term just a better choice. Sniper on the way, is the supporting with an anti-tank rifle. You could consider a light machine gun, to be honest there. I think they'd do more good for him now longer term than G43s at the very least, since they do have a bit more firepower long range. Which is particularly what he needs to resolve those penal troopers, but also, you know, the shock troopers in particular are not particularly impressed, you know, by G43s. And there we go, back tech for like to make a nice company. The question is though, is he going for it for the Panzer gun, or is he going to go for the packs? Packs would also be useful, but I really do think he needs to, you know, go for Panzer Grenadiere. There you go. Oberleutnant Friedrichs arriving there with his scoped gewehr for the free. He is taking losses. They need to care for the sniper gun moving up. There's plenty of cover though, thanks to, you know, the wreckage of tanks. So I suppose that's something there, Stupendousman. Need to be careful there. The HT5 is certainly on the prowl there for the Panzer IV on the hunt. Very much on the hunt.
The enemy has killed another infantry squad.
Lost the sniper though. Quite a loss there for Stupendous. Now need to retreat the Grenadiers. Back here, troops moving out. No sign of what he wants from the like to make a nice company. I'm guessing though it's not half track. More engineers there for a poor farmer.
Engineers ready for assignment.
But his options here for winning are certainly looking increasingly slim. Again, just that loss of that Panzer IV was a massive blow there to Stupendousman. Massive again. It was a risk which I do not think was quite worth it.
Combat engineers are standing by.
Cover shattering there, need to cover not getting too close to the Panzer IV. Nope, I was merging his contact with the penal troopers there to keep costs down in terms of reinforcement. Not a bad idea, not a bad idea. Sherman going for the Panzer IV there, taking some nasty hits, need to retreat the Panzer IV. Oh, got the penal troopers there. That's a small victory there for the Stupendousman. He's also got air support ready. He needs to go for another Panzer IV. He needs to also repair the other one, needs to pull it back further. Pretty close there. Fresh fuel cache up for poor farmer as well. And there you go, 2nd Panzer IV, Stupendousman and the 17th Panzer Division. Fun fact, as the war progressed, the Germans would find difficulty actually supplying each Panzer Division with this full complement of Panzer IVs, and so they would usually sub in Stugs instead. So usually the Panzer IV battalion was a mix of Stugs and Panzer IVs as the war went on. Panther sort of held up better because Panther production was more increased as the war went on. Sort of kept up more with that, interestingly enough. Maybe there would be some difficulties. Grenade off against the Grenadiers there. Going for the blitz there, going for the blitz again. It has worked surprisingly well there against HG5 before. But again, we can see that to the extent Stupendous, or poor farm, they're sort of more ready now for Stupendousman's tactics, moves. Still making good use of the blitzkrieg there for offensive maneuvers. Very nice to see. Some players only to get out of the situation, but here we can see Stupendousman sort of, you know, consistently showing that a blitzkrieg maneuver is also just really good on the attack. Fresh supermine there. Need to get the Panzer IV prepared pretty swiftly. Again, it's 32. Be ashamed to lose it. All that. Snipers moving about there. Shock troops on the run, almost wiped out in fact. And oh! Supermine takes out another victim. Big loss there for Stupendousman. Really at the time we can't afford it. We absolutely cannot afford it. Always a good idea to sweep areas. Always a good idea. I was getting that Panzer IV back in action very fast. He's not laid down any super mines in the north half of the map. In fact, that's all that's left. Another issue to fire out there for poor Farmer. He is just keep on going in there because for the most part they're working out reasonably well. Oh wait, Panzer IV good to go. Need to get everything going again there for the fatherland. He's still got a victory point lead versus a poor Farmer, but he is desperately falling behind everything else. He just tries his Panzer IV hit there through the centre. Mines laid down there. Sniper taking direct hit. Issue 5 another Panzer IV. He's going to try and mash it again, I think. Penal Troopers going to move in the range of it. Going to get satchelled. Calling in air support. Oh dear, he's going to toss away another Panzer IV. Definitely not good. That is GG there. That is GG. Definitely not a risk that was worth it. And with that, he's pretty much got nothing left to really sort of defend himself against poor Farmer with. All is pretty much lost. He's just down to 2 Grenadier Corps and 2 Pioneers, while his opponent has veteran shock troopers, penal troopers, conscript, sniper, MD-42s, and overall just all resources to deal with. So there you go, a brutal slaughter of carnage and blood here on Kholodny Ferma. A lot of back and forth here, some amazing comebacks there by Stupendousman, but ultimately just, you know, with the loss of that, you know, almost is Panzer IV there. I think he really just sort of just fell apart from him. He just couldn't, you know, keep up momentum. His Grenadiers were just being lost at too fast of a pace. He didn't go for Panzer Grenadiers, and he also just lost the other Panzer forces as well a bit too fast. So he couldn't really just, you know, maintain a force where he could do some damage. He could never really just seriously hold any ground. He could have done maybe with some mines here and there, telemines, S-mines, more machine guns could also benefit. That's just some Panzer Grenadiers. So, you know, some good moves there for Stupendousman. Again, he really just, I mean, gave, you know, his opponent quite a beating at times. You know, but ultimately, again, as the game progressed, though, he just ran into issues because occasionally made some really bad calls, in particular there with his Panzer IVs. And again, the loss of that Ace Panzer IV really caused him bad. But again, aggressive harassment, really good stuff there early on. Just mid-game to late game, some issues there cropped up. Poor Farmer, I think, did well as well, though. Good tactics. He was in some ways more consistent as opponent. Not quite as well as imaginative, except for those super mines there. But, you know, nasty opponent there. But certainly an interesting build order there. Mix of shock tools, penal troopers, and snipers. Certainly proving quite effective there for a poor Farmer. So, there you go. Hope you enjoyed this match. Hope you learned something from it. If you did, want to subscribe to the friends, share it with everyone. And of course, do consider supporting the Propagandacast. As I try to do this for a living, so every bit you can, you know, help with, even $1 is quite appreciated. You can either, you know, pledge and Patreon. Of course, a big thanks to all the Patreon supporters. They do a lot there to keep me going. And of course, if you can't just on a monthly basis, you know, a single donation here and there could also help you on PayPal. And also, if you'd like to send a replay, links are also in the video description alongside the other bits there. We can send in a replay. You know, they do provide some links to where on the leaderboard. So get way too many replays where they don't even provide that, despite me repeatedly saying provide links to the leaderboard where you are. I don't want to have to search for those kinds of things then, particularly if I don't know you. So there you go. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope you learned something from it. If you did want to subscribe to the friends, share it with everyone. This is Imperial Engine. Cheers, and see you all tomorrow for another signing episode. Bye.